Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.
Tables are so commonly thought of when one speaks of a database that the terms are practically interchangeable. But a table is an organized structure that holds information. It consists of fields of information into which you enter your records. A field is a single column within a table consisting of one category of information. A record is a collection of related data fields that describe a single item contained within a row in a table. After creating the data model for your database tables, you will want to create the table structures in Access. At least at this point, Access will make it easy for you to do so. One way to start is by creating the tables in Design View. To create a new database table in Design View, click the Table Design button that appears within the Tables button group on the Create tab in the ribbon. When you do this, a new table will be displayed in the tabbed Documents area. In Design View, you will not see the actual data that is stored in your table. You will only see a representation of the structure of the table. You will, however, have much greater control over the structure and properties of the fields within your table than if you begin by creating a table in Datasheet View. Note that this window is divided into two panes. There's the Design Grid at the top, and that's where you enter the field names and data types. And then there's the Field Properties section beneath it. In the Design Grid at the top of the Table Design View, there's a small box at the extreme left end of each row. This is the Row Selector button. You can click this small square to select the entire row, and you will need to do this frequently in Access, so become used to where this object is. In Design View, you begin by entering the field names into the Field Name column. The Field Name column is where you type the names for the fields in your new table. Field names must be unique within a table and should be brief yet descriptive. You should also consider not placing spaces within the field names. If you want, you can adopt a convention such as capitalizing the first letter of each word in a field name or using the underscore character instead of a literal space between words in a field name. Also, the order of fields entered into this column will be the order that they will be displayed from left to right in the Datasheet view, which is the view that allows you to see the actual data in the tables. Next, for each field that you create, you must assign it a data type by using the drop-down that appears when you click into the data type column to the right of the field name. Each field that you create must have a data type assigned to it. This tells Access what kind of data you will be storing within that field. The default data type for new fields in Access 2013 is short text. In Access 2010 and 2007, this default data type was simply called text. In relational database tables, the more varied kinds of data types that exist within a table, the quicker it will be to index and query those tables. So feel free to change the type as needed. Let's review the various data types that you can assign to fields within Access tables. First, there's short text, which is called text in 2010 and 2007. This data type contains text or a combination of text, numbers, and other information. Its maximum length is 255 characters. There's also long text. Long text is called memo in Access 2010 and 2007. This is a longer version of a text field. Its maximum length is 65,535 characters. There's also the number field. This can contain only numeric data that you want to perform calculations on, not phone numbers or zip codes, as you do not perform calculations with these types of numbers. They are actually stored in text fields. Datetime fields contain a date or time code. These are useful for date-time calculations. Currency is similar to the number data type in its function, but it's formatted as currency. Therefore, it uses fixed point calculation, which is faster than the floating point calculation used by number fields. AutoNumber assigns a unique numeric ID to all records entered into the table. This is useful as a primary key field. Yes/No stores logical data types. Yes and no, true or false, on and off, -1 or 0. So used when there is only two possible values in a field that can exist. OLE Object connects a field to another Windows application. You can use OLE Object data types for additional graphics, calendars, or audio-video files. Hyperlink contains a hyperlink to an address on the World Wide Web. Attachment allows you to attach any type of supported file, such as images or spreadsheets, for example. It provides greater attachment flexibility than the OLE object field data type, and also uses storage space more efficiently than OLE object fields do. A calculated field allows you to create a calculated field which contains a value which is derived by performing a function on other table fields by using an expression that you create. Selecting the Lookup Wizard choice from the data type drop-down will open up the Lookup Wizard, which guides you through setting up a lookup field, which will then contain values from another table, query, or even values that you enter by hand. This is useful for combo boxes and list boxes in forms. Below the design grid is the Properties section, where you can set the properties of the currently selected field within the table. In Access 2010, you will also see the properties of the table itself shown within the Properties pane at the right side of the table. Do not confuse the two panes. The properties that are shown at the bottom of the design grid are the properties of the currently selected field. In this area, the properties of the currently selected field will be displayed on two tabs called General and Lookup. You can edit or set the field's properties here by changing values shown as needed. You will look at some of the properties that you can change for selected fields in a later lesson. For now, simply familiarize yourself with where the field properties are located within the table design view.
Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.